an opening statement.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I apologize for being late. We were in a markup in Homeland Security, which of course is tied to what some of the FEMA does with the partner agencies. I want to thank the witnesses also for joining us as we look at how FEMA is going to implement the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan. Last year at the hearing where we addressed the strategic plan, this subcommittee heard from witnesses and stakeholders about climate change, and that climate change and related severe weather events have continued to alter the emergency management landscape. Since that hearing, we have certainly seen that to be the case. Today's disasters are more frequent, they cause more damage, they are more expensive, and they take longer to recover from. My home state of Nevada has experienced the impacts of this new disaster climate. While the West still addresses the impact of drought, and this is a decades-long drought, record snowfall this year brings with it severe flooding, landslides, and mudslides across the West and in Nevada, which has resulted in a major disaster declaration at home. I'm committed to working with our governor, Governor Lombardo, and FEMA, who's on the ground there, until every eligible repair project in the state has been completed. As FEMA faces these unprecedented challenges, I'd particularly like to thank our Deputy Administrator Hooks and his entire team for rising to the challenges that are fueled by climate change. You've supported a nationwide disaster response and recovery efforts and simultaneously led the federal effort to respond to COVID, and that's quite a large order for you to have to meet, and we thank you for doing all that on all those different fronts. But we know that work remains to be done to find solutions to how you can administer your assistance programs. Natural disasters amplify existing disparities in our society, and the GAO has highlighted concerns with FEMA's ability to administer its programs more fairly. Time and time again, we've seen well-resourced households recover more quickly from disasters than poorer ones. If you live in an upscale neighborhood and you have the resources to move somewhere during the disaster or aftermath, you seem to get benefits and recovery efforts more quickly than if you live in the poorer neighborhoods. That's just not right that some community members can resume normal life after a few weeks or months or so after a disaster, while others are forced to live in substandard housing or sleep on the couch of a friend or neighbor for prolonged periods while they're waiting for some assistance for recovery. Recent reporting is telling us that some of these individuals and families never get back after a disaster. They're permanently displaced from their communities, and some often experience homelessness. As a result of these concerns, I introduced the Disaster Survivor Fairness Act, which includes a series of reforms designed to make federal disaster aid more easily acceptable to survivors. It removes barriers to aid by creating a universal application for federal disaster assistance, and it empowers the agency to assess home damage more fairly and more accurately post-disaster. We hope that this would ease the burden on families applying for assistance from what has been most likely the worst days of their lives. Deputy Administrator, I thank you and your colleagues again for the work you've done to guide FEMA in a positive direction, acknowledging and addressing the impacts of climate change, prioritizing equity, and investing in mitigation and resilience. Those are the kind of catchwords that we should keep in mind as we look to implement your plan. And I look forward to your testimony and Mr. Curry's in hopes that the subcommittee can better understand what we can do to help you meet the needs of people who face disasters. Thank you very much, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Chair thanks the ranking member. Chair now